All right, my dear fellow listeners, good evening once again, and welcome to another edition of Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat is a Canadian initiative with a global impact. There are a few different ways to listen to us. You can listen to us on the regular dial, that's the radio, 102.7 CKMS FM. You can listen to us on Rogers Digital Cable for those of you who have the Rogers Digital Box. And of course, we are live streaming our Chit Chat, so do take the opportunity to share a page. Today, we just thought that, it is probably important for us to kind of touch base with everybody regarding the current situation in terms of the recounting of the votes in Guyana, that is. And so we are going to take full advantage to kind of get some input and have a good chit chat with our guest tonight, Charrandass. It looks like your thing is off there. Let me see if I can do it here on my end. Just the voice there. You're not just your voice thing needs still kind of a thing there. So we are just getting we're just getting Charrandas to kind of unmute himself there. And once we have that, we are going to get the ball rolling here. So we're just trying to get Charrandas to kind of unmute himself so that way we can hear him and then we will be good to go. Okay, good. We are good. So my dear fellow listeners, again, for those of you who have just tuned in, you are listening to Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. Keep in mind, again, there are three different ways to listen to us. You can listen to us on the regular dial, that's the radio, 102.7 CKMS FM. You can listen to us on Rogers Digital Cable for those of you who have the Rogers Digital Box. And of course, we are live streaming our Chit Chat, so do take the opportunity to share page. So Charrandas, obviously, I know you have a busy schedule, but I appreciate the fact that you stopped by to take the time to chit chat with us here this evening. How are you doing tonight?
Narine Dat, thank you very much for having me, my brother. I am fine, I think. At least I'm alive and well, and I'm staying far from COVID. So that means safety is my priority.
Safety comes first. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you look nice and clean. There are a lot of ladies looking at watching the show as well too. You look nice.
Hey, but I figure if I'm going to be on YouTube and TV and all of that, I might as well try to dress up a little.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Thank you so much again for stopping by. So
you have a good program, though. I'm glad I'm taking some time to share your time with you,
No, the pleasure is all ours. So obviously, I just thought, it's probably a good opportunity for us to chit chat because, as you know, the recounting for the 2020 Guyana general and regional election is pretty much completed now. And as I see it, and I'm just speaking based how I have seen it, and I'm aware that GCOM has to make its official announcement out of that. So people do not email me for no reason. I'm aware of that. But based on the recounts, as of now, it looks like PPP is winning. And one interesting thing about that piece is that the result pretty much has not changed based on the SOPs PPP has publicly put on their website, so to speak.
Right.
So nothing has changed there. So what is your thought on that? I mean, as we know, earlier in March, PPP declared themselves to be the winner. They were the ones who openly published the SOPs. The APNU, AFC, they also declared themselves the winner, but they did not post any sort of SOP. So that's a big difference there. And they were about to swear him in and all of that. So what's your thought based on the recount and the result based on the recount? What's your thought on that?
Narine, let me tell you this. First of all, I would like for us to just focus on the recount. We can spend a couple of days talking about the recount here. Because we have touched on a few other things before, like what happened from no confidence to now. But what I want to talk to you about when we're looking at the recount is it was a court order, first of all, that brought the recount in the high gear. The recount resulted in what was deemed rigging of the election results that were presented on March 2nd, 2020, by a man named Mingo, who is a top dog in the GCOM headquarters. So what we have now, the totals per individual box, each individual box, once you check them on the recount, matched with a discrepancy of perhaps total for all 239 boxes, a difference of maybe 20 votes only for the PPP. So that is minuscule. That's really nothing. But the recount simply does, or has done, one thing. It was completed yesterday. All the boxes were counted. What it means is the world saw that Mingo, who was doing the recount or the tabulation of the results of the March election, had manipulated numbers. He stopped counting after about 400 boxes for Region 4 were completed, a little over 400. And then he created a spreadsheet from what source we don't know. The law says you have to use the statement of poll to tabulate your results and then declaration. That is the reason why they went to that the PPP, when it declares statement of poll, were very accurate, because the numbers in the recount match the numbers that they declared on the original statement of polls that were issued. And so any, if you want to call it a thought of rigging, any idea, however remote it might be, of rigging could not have come from the PPP. And that is something I would like our listeners and our viewers to pay attention to. Because when you looked at the recount, what did the PNC do? For areas that were dominated by PPP, based strictly on race, they picked names. Most, or 99.9% of the names were Indian names, assuming that these are the people. What can be described as anomalies? A bad word, a nice word? It simply means, let's call them discrepancy. They claim that the APNU agent or counting agents picked up on the recount. They just randomly picked names that seemed to be PPP. This one died before election. This one left the country before election, and this was having voted. That is an issue that would cause a lot of grief to the nation. I'll tell you that a little later. But we're looking at numbers. And frankly, my friend, my viewers, the people who are watching, that is all that GCOM has to deal with.
You are breaking up a little bit there. I can hear you, but you're breaking up a little bit. I just thought to let you know. Okay,
Jimmy, I'm breaking up.
It's good now. It's good now. It's good now.
Okay.
Good. So whatever you're doing there, just keep it the same. Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right, good. All right, so what I was saying is the recount was forced upon the people, and having completed the recount, the numbers match almost identical with just a few discrepancies to the statement of poll from the original count. But what you have is, when I say the numbers match, each box out of the 2,339 boxes match the boxes, the same numbers as before. But what we have now is, while they were doing the recount, PNC counting agents were picking up names that seemed to have voted for PPP and claimed some died, some left the country before election and voted, and all kinds of fancy allegations were made. What is happening, and the people should understand this, I think it is safe to say that GCOM is not with anomalies. GCOM should not even pay attention to these dead voters or migrant voters, as the APNU people are claiming. GCOM is simply focusing, or should be focusing, on the counting, the numbers only. so many spoiled votes, so many valid votes, so many for the PNC, PPP, APNU, or whoever. And make a declaration. And we are at the stage now where the recount has been completed. Lowfield was part of the fixing of numbers before, still the man. But then the chairman of GM, they got to sing. They a worrisome thing. If Claudette Singh says, look, we'll make the declaration, she doesn't need 3 days.
Correct.
You know, with the team that she has, she can finish all of that in a few hours and make a declaration. They are only supposed to say, based on the recount, based on the numbers that we have, we tallied them up for individual region, and the PPP has a majority of so many and over the PNC, and so the PPP is hereby declared winner of the 2020 March 2nd election. That is all he wants to know. But I will tell you what I am anticipating. These are people who have proven to the world through their who is now the head of the OAS, the Organization of American States, Mr. Golding. Golding said he's never seen such transparency in the declaration that Mingo presented. What more do you want? Now what is it? What's the narrative? Oh, Golding is a friend of
you are breaking up. You are breaking up every now and then, so I'm not sure if the phone need to be twisted, and so I can.
Well, what you can do is maybe raise the thing finger, so I can probably just move the computer a little and see if it makes a difference.
Yeah,
so
right
now again.
Yeah, so right now I can hear you nice and clear and clean. So I'm hoping you're able to keep it down.
Or maybe if I move, all right, good. I'll try to not move.
Yeah.
Let me use a frame to keep my body stiff.
So right now is really good because I want people
to
be able to hear you. So go ahead.
All right, good. So again, what we're looking at now is how is this recount going to play out? And as I said, all CKM has to do is make a declaration after tallying up the numbers and say, this is the winner. So for those of us who are saying, PPP has not been declared a winner, but based on what PPP has the highest number of votes. They're leading the PNC. I call them PNC.
Oh, you are breaking up again there. Eh?
Oh, well, I haven't moved at all.
Yeah, but now it's perfect again. So I'm not sure what it is. Now I can hear you nice and clear.
Well, you know what? If it sounds like it's not going well, as long as you say you're breaking up, it'll fix itself.
Okay, well, perfect then. If you're not doing anything on your end, we'll be good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So,
yeah, go ahead. You were talking about. No, that's okay.
I'm laughing. Yes. So once that declaration is made, it's then the next thing would be the swearing in, and which is the inauguration of Irfan Ali as the president of Guyana. There's nothing they can do to stop that. There's nothing they can do to change the numbers. What I'm guessing they will do, Mingo has the right to prepare what is called a declaration, and Mingo will claim that there is 80,000 people who voted. So through looking from CKM to notify the election. To be a brand new election. Now, I don't know. But as I said, only people everything. So I am hoping that they don't show that type of stupidity because again, the world is watching. It was they, Granger, Harmon, them went on press releases, went on national television and international newscast. The elections were free, fair, and transparent. And we won. That's the thing. Now, because they pushed the GKM into a recount, And the recount is showing that they have not won the election. Have not won, they lost. They're claiming anomalies. And if for any reason they're claiming about 80,000 anomalies, and if Lowenfield presents that in his declaration, this GCOM chair, depending on what side she leans for or towards, can say, I'll invalidate the election. We have to go to a new election. Now, how long are you going to drag the people of in this quagmire, in this goddamn chaotic situation? I don't know. But that is the worst case scenario. I am hoping they don't go that route because it'll be detrimental to the people, especially with COVID, the authority to fight COVID. So, my friend, we're looking at this thing, and it brings me right back to the reason. Mingo, the rigger, did not act alone. He is not that smart to figure out a case that will show that they have won by, 15 or 10,000 votes after the PPP was ahead by 15,000 votes. So having done that, the people accepted it. The APNU AFC team accepted it. It's a valid election. We come back to this thing now. After that rigging was picked up and exposed, an election, but they went through a recount for the entire Guyana, all 10 regions. And that is what we have right now.
So what's up with this missing document? I was reading some pieces with some missing document and whatnot.
If you, as an ordinary person or Charrandass or any one of our viewers, steal the $5, they're in the hands of the police next minute, And you could be fined heavily. Simple larceny is a hell of an offense. Or you could even be jailed.
For sure.
This man stole an election. It is so obvious. This man, as the chief elections officer for Region 4, there's a video. I don't know if you have access to that video. I have a copy of it on my phone.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up this video.
I'll tell you what it showed. It showed GCOM counting agents during the March 2nd election accounting were opening envelopes scattered all over the place. They were scattered all over the place. So many boxes, no document inside, and so the votes for all those boxes were invalid. That is what they're pushing. But it is clear that was not a PPP deed. PPP did not do that. PPP did not interfere with the boxes, did not interfere with the envelopes. Remember, and again, my brothers and sisters who are watching and listening, it was Karen Cummings, not a minister, but she went in there as Minister of Foreign Affairs and told the people that she will revoke all their, not their invitation, but their validation of observers. Imagine that. And then the police went and cleared the entire place. Only GCOM people were left with the boxes open. And they were the ones digging into even if the PPP people were inside there, they didn't touch those boxes. So you can't blame PPP for fixing those documents or removing the document. It is obvious. If you have the video, yes, I'd like to, for you to...
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that video, I think it will make sense for me to kind of really pop the video up so people can have an idea as to...
If you have it, I'd love to see that. Let the people see.
I want
Good
to...
man. Look at that, yes.
So let me just put it on here so people can see.
You see, these are GCOM counting agents.
Keep an eye on that guy over there, Dave. Keep an eye on that guy over there.
So So what people are not realizing is that this is not a long time. You know, everything is on camera, everything on tape now.
Right.
The world has seen all of this. Yeah?
I'm videotaping him. Keep him also.
You see, look at them. Getting in and out of the envelopes as if they own the place. And hiding.
Well, I guess they didn't do a good job hiding because they're getting caught right now.
Look at these people. Those are irregularities. They're ganging up there as if they got nothing to do. Imagine they're holding official position. Something so critical as counting votes.
So I can stop roll the video now, but at least...
Yes, please. All right.
So,
you may get a better angle from your side.
Have an idea as to what went on there. We have it on there. So yes, so I just thought it was wise for us to kind of, you know...
Yes, so refresh their memory. They'll see that the envelopes have been or are being handled, manipulated by GCOM counting agents, not the PPP people. They all had T-shirts that said GCOM on them. You understand? So that's not the PPP doing that. That was the PNC. And they were the ones who fixed or removed documents from the envelope. And now the PNC are saying, well, the documents were not in the envelope, so those votes were not valid. The other thing is, you don't know on a piece of paper who voted, who placed the X there. There's no name.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to claim that this person was not in the country or this one was dead? And, you know, and then remember they had their own people there, the PNC. GCOM had people, they had the observers there. And now on the recount, they're coming up with these things. That is the part that worries me. So what I'm looking at, and my biggest fear, my brother, that's why I don't know, I think I told you this morning, I'm not questioning anybody. I'm not saying he won the election until they swear in Dr. Irfan Ali. Because when Lowenfield presents his valuation or his, when he finished with all his documents and he presents it, he will have alongside valid votes, so many 100,000, unqualified votes, and then he will have as anomalies about 80,000. And if this lady takes that and she disqualifies her or totally, as we'll say in layman's terms, the election, she will deem it invalidated, and so she will order a new election. Now, the easier part in that is declare the goddamn numbers which you're legally authorized to do, and then Irfan is sworn in. If you have any complaints in regards to the validity of the votes, you take it to court through what they call an elections petition. And that is what they law dictates. You can't do it before, but you can file an election petition in the court to complain that there were irregularities in the election, and they could, based on your evidence.
For sure.
I'll tell you about evidence in a little bit. The evidence that you present to show that there were anomalies or irregularities, and only then can you have anything happening. So what they're fighting for is beyond me. It's really beyond me, because I don't know. They've shown, I always tell people that, look, the PPP have been deemed to be the winner for the second time now in terms of numbers. All they have to do is declare it. Mingo is out of there. They don't know where Mingo is. But that man, I thought he was in jail already for having stolen an election and then instructing people to remove documents from an official survey there. All these are, you know, there's so many wrongs happening there. Valda Lawrence, the minister or former minister of health, she wasn't there. She signed a GCOM document. She's not a GCOM official.
Correct. So
those are things
so
nobody's looking at.
you keep going there while I'm actually showcasing so people know who this Mingo guy is, just in case there kind of thing. And then I'm going to highlight as
That
well.
is Mingo.
That is Mingo.
The man who rigged the election.
Right. And also I will highlight some of the differences in terms of
the boxes.
In terms of numbers.
Yes.
Exactly. So as people can see here,
yes.
The one with the blue, that's Mingo's makeup number, so to speak. And the difference you'll see here in yellow, there was a difference by 100, and that's box number 4020. I'm just going to do a couple so people have an idea.
Yeah, that's true. That's
yeah, right? So just a couple, as people can see as well, you know, on box 4013, they will see that, you know, there was another big difference there by, you know, 59. And if you keep going, you will see, you know, 55, and it keeps going, right? And so on. And so I just thought I kind of highlight a few so people can see that it wasn't, you know, just a mistake. You know, it was planned and it was intentionally done for sure. There's no question about that. There's no way this will be a mistake. kind of
with all that evidence, nobody has filed charges. And you notice, no matter what the PNC people are saying, Granger, Harman, Bassett, nobody has said anything about what Mingo did. Not a word has been mentioned from them about Mingo's wrongdoings. Correct. Whether they agree with it or they disagree with it, they've said nothing that Mingo prepared a spreadsheet from this and that and the other. They didn't even try to defend it because they know what they were doing or what they tried to do. So, my friend, what we're looking at for this recount is nothing big, you know. Let's say they have to make a declaration. And after the declaration, whatever has to happen will happen. If after the declaration she deems the election, then we have to go back to the polls. That may reach the court. So for now, all we're looking at is a declaration has to come. By this evening, they should have their declaration.
I'm thinking by this weekend, this evening they should have it, but I cannot see that happening based on what I've been seeing, you know, from since March up to now, or at least, or I should say, since 2018 December kind of thing.
Well,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
I am really worried, man, because as I said, they're capable of anything. Right. And they don't seem to care that they're putting the people of the country through hell, especially with COVID now. Them not being a legal government, and the irregularities with the election have forced the foreign countries to not give them help in terms of money for COVID. So we need to have, as fast as we can, a valid government. So, and then the oil money that Ghana has been frozen in a bank account in the United States. All of these are contributing to they have dried the PNC, Granger and team. They have dried the treasury. Now they're calling on UG students who have loans to go and pay up the loans because the treasury doesn't have money. They need money to push their fight for power. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it's going. And honestly, I am not trying to literally be pessimistic. I'm not trying to dishearten the people out there. But I don't know where this is going. Until I see where it ends, I will not guess at a conclusion because these people are capable of every goddamn wickedness.
And speaking of, a legal government, speaking of that, I don't want to go backwards here, but the fact that, as I understand it, I don't think Granger is the president now. The reason why I'm saying this is because according to I mean, you will know more than I do, but I'm just saying as how I understand it based on the Constitution, because the Constitution is saying that on the 106, Section 6, it's clearly saying, and maybe you can help me understand this, it's saying that the cabinet, including the president, and this is word for word, I'm reading off the Constitution here, it says that the cabinet, including the president, shall resign if the government is defeated by the vote of a majority of all the elected members of the National Assembly on a vote of confidence. Obviously, that has to do with your voting there too. So that's how I understand it. So as I understand it, I'm not sure if acting president is the right word, whatever it is, but according to that statement that we just read there, it doesn't seem as if like he's the actual president there. So that's my understanding of it.
Well, let me help you with that.
Sure.
What it says is cabinet and the president. shall resign if the vote of confidence is passed by all the elected members. The reason they say that is, I'll give you one example. Sidney Alicock, who is Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, he is not an elected member, but he was still sitting there as a Vice President and Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, front bencher on the PNC side, government side. The elected members would be those who are on the list. I was an elected member because I was on the AFC APNU list. If your name was not on the list before election, then you're not an elected member. But because Sidney Alicock was a minister, he had to take a seat in Parliament. And so he became what you call a technocrat, meaning he's not from an elected list. So what that part, Article 1066 that you just read is accurately read, by the way, from the Constitution. It simply means that the President and Cabinet, now I'll explain Cabinet in 10 seconds. Cabinet are the senior ministers. Simona Brooms, Valerie Garrido-Low, Jaipal Sharma, Valerie Patterson, Annette Ferguson, and before the no confidence, Karen Cummings, were all junior ministers in the government. They were ministers. Junior ministers are not cabinet members. Right. That's the reason. So the senior members are cabinet members. And the reason for that is a minister can approve a construction work or any work for 20 million maximum. Cabinet will approve from zero to billions of dollars. And that is why when it says 168, that the cabinet and the president shall resign once the no confidence motion is passed, it also says at 1067, the next section, that the president shall remain in office, or sorry, the government shall remain in office until an election which should be held within 3 months and a president is sworn in. It didn't say the president must remain in office. It said the government shall remain in office, because you still need to have what you can describe as managers to run the affairs of the country before and until an election is held. It does not mean that the president will continue being president. It says the government shall run the country, but not as ministers, not as president. That's not clear enough in the Constitution. It doesn't say that. But they are still claiming, and that's why when I yell that Granger is a usurper, he is an illegal president. He's not really president. He's the government as a caretaker government. But the word again, caretaker, was not used in the Constitution. But how else do we interpret it? 1066 says, President and Cabinet shall resign. 1067 says, they shall remain as government. Government does not mean now an elected government to run the affairs of the state until an election is held within 3 months and a president is sworn in. Because all of them, only yesterday, Kemraj Ramjatan is going on as a Minister of Public Security asking for a forensic audit. What is wrong with these people? And so that is why, my friend, when you look at what the Constitution dictates and what they have been doing, again, another one that's so simple. Parliament is dissolved, had to be dissolved for a date to be fixed for election. If Parliament is dissolved, if Walmart store is closed, then nobody in that store is working or can go back there to work. It is no longer a store. It is a closed business, bankrupt business or whatever. Same thing with Parliament. Nobody is a minister because there is no Parliament. You're not a member of Parliament. And if you're not a member of Parliament, you cannot be a minister. It is that simple. It is that simple. If Alicock was not on the list, but because they made him a minister, he had to be a member of Parliament. The reverse is true. If Parliament is no minister, they have violated Constitution. They've lied. What lie? Granger said he loves the Constitution. He will lie by it. That's a lie. That's a lie. You don't have to go far. So you know that they're lying. We won the election. They never showed the state poll. If you win the lottery and you go and collect the $5 million that you win, you got to give the Lotto Corporation your ticket. Are they going to give you money? You can't go say, I win, give me my $5 million. You have to give them your ticket. We win the election. Show me your statement of poll. The PPP said we won the election. We showed the statement of poll. We have so many. Show me yours. And if you know that you win, why are you afraid or ashamed to show you're safe in the poll. That is what the situation is. And so it comes down to integrity, honesty, and love of the people. Look what they're doing to the people, and they're going to stand up on a platform and say, we will give you the good life. We love you very much. Hell no, man. Middle finger. That's what this government is doing.
So if I understand you correctly, they have 3 days to officially announce the winner there, kind of thing?
Well, the chairperson, who has been very vocal and as I would say, she's already disclosed her stand. She's saying that after the recount, she will need 3 days to make the declaration. So we're hoping if she wants 3 days, like I said, you and I can sit down there and finish counting all of that before the morning is up, or from now before the night is up.
So, I mean, I don't want to get to this whole Mingo thing and so on, but I would assume, as a regular, citizen here, born and raised in Guyana, I would assume, based on the act, from people like Mingo, I would think that those are serious crime. And so I'm surprised that Mingo is actually still part of this whole, he's still working as normal kind of thing. He's just not working, or he didn't work in Region 4. They just moved him elsewhere. My understanding.
Still illegal. He did wrong. And he's still employed by GCOM. Man, if anybody from your office, your home even, steal, you want to pong their hand and do them things. This man tried to steal an election, and the fraud that he committed is going unpunished. Well, for now, because he'll happen to make sure he pays a price for that. But that's what it is. And nobody seems to wonder on their side why he did that, and nobody's taking blame for it. They're not even saying Mingo was wrong. They're still claiming that Mingo's declaration was correct. And why I'm saying the lady for GCOM, the chairperson or chairwoman, Claudette Singh, has taken a stand. She showed her true colors, affiliation to the PNC, because she did not do anything to stop Mingo and did not up to today condemn Mingo for having done what he did. So my brother, when you're looking at what is going on in the country, the event sanctions are imposed, it is the people who will suffer.
Correct.
Sanctions will not affect these rich people. The people will suffer. And that is what I am worried about. Because, true people are saying, Charan, you did this, you did that. Some are thinking it's a good thing. Some are calling me all kinds of names that are not good. But I think what I did had to be done. And it is now, or it has exposed some qualities that we couldn't see in people who are governing our lives in the country, man.
Correct.
That worries me. It really does.
Yeah, the way I see it, I mean, I watched this whole thing from the beginning. The way I see it, nobody seems to care for the people, really. They're just in it there for themselves, really, right? Though that's the thing that bothered me, because I mean, I'm receiving email. I do receive email from people. People are, sharing their struggles and all of that. And especially with this whole COVID, 19 situation and whatnot. So with all of this going on, it's kind of very sad to see this, that nobody seems to recognize really, that, we need to push this thing fast. And the fact that a recount was, in a sense, forcefully done, so to speak, at least I see that way. I mean, now that it is all done now, I would think that the next step will be to just quickly declare, whoever the winner is and get it out of the way so that the people can move on with their lives, right?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So I'm not sure what's next. And I was very surprised to hear about there's that chance, that possibility of, the chairwoman to kind of accept or not accept.
Yeah.
so I'm curious now, really, more than ever,
But because of what I've seen,
yes.
I am saying if she does not accept, or if she accepts the declaration that Lowenfield is preparing right now as we speak, she will deem the election invalid and order new election.
If she accepts,
so what will happen? PPP may take that to court. And then if they lose, they will appeal. And then When is it going to end, man? It's like a recurring decimal.
Well, she still has the opportunity to clear herself and do the right thing, you know. If she
Well,
does,
we hope
yes, we hope
that some ounce of integrity is left in that system somewhere. So she will run with it and declare the election based on the numbers that the world is looking at, man.
Correct. You know, I don't think
it's sad.
Yeah, I don't think it's that difficult now to kind of make a determination of who the winner is, you know, based on what
It can never be difficult,
right,
man.
Right.
She has it there. Do the damn thing, you know.
Yes, you know.
Narine Dat, let me tell you, buddy, I think you have a wonderful program. I've watched it a couple of times. I've seen different people in your program. And it is good that you sensitize people. Like in this case, not too many people may have watched YouTube and seen the elections, the recount and the results and all of that. So by doing this, at least they have a bit of an insight, a further insight, I should say.
For sure. Because one of the things that really confuses me here is that I'm like from the APNU side, and I'm not on any side here. I'm just speaking based on what I've seen. I've seen people saying that are saying that the PPP are rigging the election kind of thing, right?
That's what they're pushing now.
And somebody said that Mingo deserves a medal. This is from the APNU side. And I wanted to vomit, man. Sorry that I'm saying this on live television here, but I'm saying to myself, like, come on, guys, that we have to grow up here now too. So so that's what
well, you can, you know when you get award and Hollywood is presenting awards, you get director, supporting actor, actress, you know, best comedian, best villain. Mingo can get an award. Most unscrupulous returning officer.
Well, they didn't say it that way.
Or here now, he can get something for the dumbest rigger in the world. Because he did the rigging when everybody could see. And of course, he knew he was going to get caught. He was caught. And that was foiled. So how smart can you be when you do something like that? But you know what? Well, I'm not mad with the people. And let me say this quickly. I'm not mad with the people who call me names or who are saying that the PPP did this. You know why? They are listening to their leaders. They're listening to the APNU AFC leaders. And, you know, if I support your party and you tell me A, I will believe it's A. So when again, they're saying we won, but they never showed the people their statement of poll, or else the people would know, well, your statement of poll doesn't show the numbers that you're claiming you have, or the numbers that Mingo published. They cannot do that because if they do, they will expose themselves. But by fighting for a recount, they did exactly that. They exposed themselves. So they cannot cook the numbers up anymore. They're now trying to look to see, as they created these dead voters, when will this end? What else will they think of? These are people who are beyond stupid. They have lost the respect of the people. You know why? They have not done anything from December 21st, 2018, to show the people that there's a claim that the rest of the members of parliament will have confidence in what you're doing. Now, you know you need to win the election. Do now to the election date. Do things to show that people, look, we will give you this, we will do this for you if you put us back in office. That's not done. But there are, and all the craziness that they're fighting to show off with are just helping to bury them further in a hole, and they don't seem to care.
So no, I totally agree with you here, and I mean, of course, people are getting impatient now, especially now because I mean the whole big
push
deal
them
was
too far.
You know, for sure, because I mean the recounting, they originally they wanted I think about 3 months to do the recount. You know, people were able to manage to get it, you know, shorter time, 25 days. Then it kind of went a little bit over. So that too was a little bit of a you know
33 days.
Or yes, for sure, right? And so that 33 days is all done now. And I mean it's not really too that complicated. But if something was to go wrong in terms of calling a new election, I don't think, I think it's going to be a challenging time for a lot of different people in so many different ways.
Not only challenging time, you know, if you push a man too far, look, take a rubber band, and when you stretch it, the elasticity will end, and if you continue to pull it, it will break.
Correct.
You have pushed the people so far, you still want to push them further, their patience will have been stretched to the maximum, they will break. When you break a person, the person has nothing to lose after that. Try to imagine what you're creating. Exactly. They don't seem to have a focus. So they don't seem to have a vision at all.
So that's the point I was trying to make, but I tried to say it in a different way. But I'm glad you kind of, I'm glad you took the time to kind of really say it in a different way. I mean, we can keep going on and on, but ideally people are on the edge right now, like they are on that edge. And so, you know, and I know people are just kind of waiting for that opportunity to kind of know, you know, what's next for them, kind of thing, right? In terms of, you know, like who, you know.
Well, let me say this. Sorry to interrupt you here.
No, that's okay.
In the March 2nd results, after they were published by the PPP, or after, you know, they started celebrating, the PPP were happy. And guess what? The PNC were also celebrating because they claimed they won.
That's right.
So now that this thing is done, everybody, I got a text message the other day. I hope you buy a new suit to come for the inauguration. When are we? So we're going to see you back soon and all these things. But I keep saying, wait, because I need to have a declaration made and then a swearing in. And only then will I, having seen these people, I was in the belly of the PNC. I know these people. I want to see the swearing in of Irfan Ali. Then I'll say, yes, it's over. PVP has won. Only then. Until then, I'm not congratulating anybody because these people may come up and pull a hat clean out of a concrete, a straw out of a concrete hat.
You know, on that note, though, I have a question for you, and you can choose to answer it or you can just pass it. Somebody had put a comment when I put the poster and letting people know that you'll be joining us here. Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. Somebody put a comment and say that Charrandass deserves a position with the PPP. That was just their opinion. And again, right? And I'm asking this question here, and you can choose to answer or you can just pass. If you know, if things goes well, you know, accordingly as how we see it, and
swearing in Irfan,
swearing Ali and so on. If a position is being offered to you, will you take it? Will you accept that position if a PPP is in power now? Now, if you see things on both sides,
my friend, I just came back from a friend, and I'll name him a brilliant lawyer, a brilliant accountant. He has an accounting firm, and he's also now a lawyer. Tamish Lil Mohan. His daughter is a lawyer. I went to sit down and talk to him. Here's the big caution. Before election, after the no confidence was taken and passed because of my vote, they wanted my head. That's the PNC, or I keep saying PNC, meaning PNU, AFC. They're all PNC. Now, with this, the way the election has gone and the result that we're looking at now, they want from they just don't want my head alone. So I would have to pay attention to security for me and whether or not it's safe for me to go back. Remember now, I'm a lawyer. I can go back to Guyana and make more money legally than what ministers make. And that is one of the reasons why I told Cameras I don't want to be a minister. I enjoy practicing law. I have freedom, and I'll attend Parliament once a month or something like that. Sometimes for the whole year, you attend Parliament 6 times only. Can you imagine that? That's how they were running things. So I don't know that I even consider that, because I am still very afraid that somebody one day will walk up to me sitting with family or having a get-together and just blow my brains out. I don't want brains out. I'll still worry about losing the little that I have.
You know,
and so I can safely say now, I don't think that is going to be something that I would like to consider. But at the same time, I have been unemployed for 18 months. from December 21st, 2018 to now, we're running into 18 months. So I have to work. So something, again, I don't care what it is. I shouldn't say I don't care, but I'm sure that if I ask them to say be Canadian High Commissioner, Ghana High Commissioner to Canada, or Ambassador, whatever they call them, or to the US or Cuba or wherever, I'm sure they will consider that. And at least it'll keep me occupied and I'll still be in the loop, you know, I'll know what's going on and all of that.
Sure.
But I'll say this, the PPP needs to show the people, they need to show the people that they will work and do things differently from what the new AFC did for the past 5 years. They will work to benefit the people. Ghana now will be having a lot of money. You can do things to put the people on a different level. A few steps up every year is what the people want. They need to do that, because I am not going to pull punches here. The PPP perhaps in 2015, up to 2015, thought they couldn't lose an election. They lost. They didn't think they could lose the election in 2020, which is when election is due. But because of all that went on, they still didn't give a damn about what was going on. They were confident they'll win. They lost the election. I think PPP needs to pay attention to that. They can lose in 2025 unless you do things for the people. The people are getting to a stage where they're not duty bound to support you. There's no undivided loyalty anymore. Our loyalty would be to those who are giving us what we need in the goddamn country. And when you don't have to force them, they will come out and vote for you. You did well, we want you back.
For sure.
And so they need to pay attention to that and treat the people right.
I appreciate
that's all I'm asking of the government.
I appreciate, by the way, for your honest answer when I ask you about if a position was to given to you, if you are going to take it. And you clearly mentioned that safety comes first for you. You mentioned,
yeah, man, I know.
Okay? And I think that's very fair. You know, you could have just you know, sugarcoat it, but you're being very honest, and I commend you for that for sure. So, and I mean, if I were in your shoe, I would have definitely looked at all of those pieces myself just to make sure. You know, I mean, because even if I go to Ghana on a vacation, I make sure that I'm well taken care of. I'm making sure that my safety comes first too. So in your case, it will be a whole lot different, of course. So thank you for being honest.
And you have to agree that I have done what I've done. However right I may see it, however just I may see it, whatever conscience pushed me to do that, those people who are affected, the PNC, the AFP and UAFC, they don't like it. They don't like me. They will want to get back at me. And I can't be a head of lettuce and believe that they wouldn't want to do things to me. They said it in Parliament, shouted out, Charrandass, you're going dead tonight. And a lot has gone literally worse from then to now. And all this nonsense, that party, the hierarchy of the PNC has split up. Carl Grenades is back in England. They've removed him. Granger's own son-in-law, Dominic Askin, married Granger's daughter, spoke out against the rigging. You can't do that. You all lost the election, or we lost the election. And so he's now out of the party. It seems that as if Williams and Joe Harman and all of them are fighting for something, but they seem to be scatterbrained up there. So that is going to literally unleash some kind of force my way, which I really don't want. So,
all right. Yeah, no,
I'd stay here and be safe. That way you can give me your program more often.
I know, stay here and be safe. You know, well, we're hoping. I mean, I know I told you that within 3 days, I'm hoping that we can have that result. But the only reason why I said it three days is because I know how they operate in Ghana. I've seen all the bits and pieces, obviously. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to be too hopeful. But I agree with you. There's no reason for it to even take that long. Like, it's that simple kind of thing, right? But we have to kind of play it by ear now, really. We have just everybody have to kind of really hang in tight there kind of thing.
My friend, there's a lot of things that needs fixing, you know. My suggestion is the entire GCOM staff should be removed. And you need somebody from a foreign country to head GCOM, because they will have no affiliation to either side. And you get them a 3-year contract. 3 years, you bring somebody else. That's only we have. Because 3 would be government, 3 would be opposition, And the deciding vote in this case is Claudette Singh, who is all PNC. So if you have a neutral person from any other country, bring them in, they will decide, and I'm guessing they will do only what is right, because a 3-year renewable contract, if they like it, they're being paid well, they may want to come back, and only if they do well will they stay, or will they be allowed to stay. So that is one of the things I'm looking at. And then some of the judges. Remember, we had a decision in no confidence motion. The 2 judges in the Court of Appeal said 33 is not bigger than 32, but 34 is bigger than 33. And so they deemed the no confidence invalid, not passed. Imagine that. 2 judges did that. So, and then the other day we had Franklin Holder granted injunctions against the PPP to stop the recount. Those are not judges. Those are partisan. Those are political appointees. They need to be removed. And you need, like, one of the things, we were talking about the anomalies. The chairperson, Claudette Singh, sent a list of 200 something to the police commissioner, Leslie James. Say, look, check these people. We have report here that they migrated. They're not in the country, and they left the country before election. What he did, he came back with 126 from the list that Claudette Singh gave him and said these people were not in the country. So if they voted, their vote would be invalid. Somebody cheated. One of the persons he named, like fella, he's a lawyer. He's also one of the observers from the private sector, sitting right now in GCOM there. And probably, and most of our viewers might have seen people come out on TV to say, I am so-and-so, I was here on March 2nd and I voted. I am so-and-so, I don't have a passport, so I couldn't leave the country. From the list that Leslie James gave. Now imagine he's the commissioner of police, neutral person, serve and protect. And he lied on documentation to GCOM to make it look like there was irregularity or some sort of irregularity. So where do you go when your top ranking officials, and I mean, like from president come right down, are cheating, are violating constitution, are breaking laws? Where do we go?
For sure. I have to agree with you on that one. I think Ghana needs a lot of cleaning up, cleaning up in the sense that that the GCOM thing, you have to have neutral people kind of thing. You cannot have one person or set of or a group of people support one party to work for an institution like GCOM. It doesn't work like that, And it is very clear that we have GCOM people in there. I mean, this Claudette, Mr. Singh, that is, and this could be me speculating kind of thing. And I know she has a role to play and so on. But based on all the bits and pieces I'm seeing, I mean, I don't blame people for speculating and saying that she has a lot to do with many of the pieces too, because I
have learned a long time ago. You don't speak off the top of your head unless you committed or something or you did something. What we're looking at is this lady. Remember when she appointed the counting stations, if you want to finish the count, knowing that you're going to have foreigners, CARICOM or the Carters sitting there, you don't keep them in your country for 5 years. You want to keep them in maybe 5 days.
That's right.
So appoint 20 counting stations and finish the count in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Rather than run for 4 weeks or 5 weeks as the case might be. And that she didn't do. Then she was allowed 2 more stations. This lady did not put in the other 2 stations until the COVID people, the COVID cleared 2 more stations. Then at 12, they'd have 10, they'd have 12. She didn't put them in until a week after. Then here's the next thing. Why are you counting, spot checking the regions and pick up the boxes? Count from 1 to 10. Or put all your agents to count region 1. Then take region 2. All your agents will count region 2 today and move in order. She didn't do all of that because, again, she left region 4 for last. We see deja vu, as they say in France. Deja vu, it's happening again. Region 4 was there for the last. They fixed the numbers. Region 4 is there for the last again in the recount. And they're still looking to fix things. My friend, how do you see these people as credible, man? How do you see them as credible? I have a difficulty with that. I don't even think they should sit there even for another day, but they have to finish this part of the job.
They have to finish up the job, but let's hope that they finish up the job right.
Finish it, yes, that's right.
You know, I'm not sure.
We were told if you're gonna do a job, do it to the best of your ability. Isn't that what it is, man?
I'm not sure what's right anymore, to tell you the truth. You know, because I mean, I live most of my life here in Canada, so when I look at things from a North American lens, right, this whole stretch of you know, taking so long to count, like, you know, less than less than 500,000 votes. All of that is kind of very turned off for me. I really get turned off. You know, I follow along everything, but to keep watching this all this stupidness is what I just say, to be blunt here. It's kind of really turning me off. Really, I cannot deal with it, kind of thing, right? And I can just imagine the everyday people who are not so vocal. You know, I can just imagine how hard it is on them, that they're seeing the same things that we are seeing. It's just that they're not able to voice their opinion. And the people who are doing all of this mischief here, shame on you guys, man. That you guys know better than this. Like, how?
Look, excuse me, our next door neighbor, Suriname, had election. They finished counting, and they looked to put in a new prime minister or president.
Yes.
St. Kitts just the other day, they're done with their election. Well, smaller number, but still. There's no fighting in court to give up position. Look at Trudeau right here. Mm-hmm. Yes. 36 million people in Canada. The next day, you know that Trudeau won by what you call it, plurality. Yeah. And so he's going to be prime minister again.
That's right.
We can't finish 450,000 votes, man. Terrible situation.
Yeah, so what they're doing, though, the current folks right now, what they're doing, I feel as if they are damaging opportunities for the younger folks. Because let's say there are other folks who love to get into politics or want to get into something along that line. They're kind of really haunt their opportunity, because I mean, they're blunting people there, because people will look back. You know, in 2025, believe it or not, people are going to look back. PPP will use all this as an opportunity for them, you know, during their campaign and so on, obviously, right? And
well, I'll give you one name. There's a young man named Conor Griffith. He used to sit in Parliament in the public gallery, because he very much liked what was going on, and he's into politics. And he made some ugly comments. So I told him, I said, look, you're a bright young man. You have a degree from the university, and you're taking a stand. You are raising an argument in a fight that you are totally ignorant of. So I said, do not position yourself in ignorance and then get the facts. And I told him, I said, simply ask your leaders to show you the statement of poll and then say that they won. Don't listen to them.
Correct. And even now, I get it that based on the result in the recount, I get it that it is a clear cut that PPP win it. But as of now, course, it has to be, we still have to wait for that final word from
officially,
the right? So that official piece. So I still ask people to kind of hang in there and be a little bit patient. I know everybody's running out of patience, obviously, right?
Yeah, Narine, it's a race. When you go to these car races and motorbike races and so, you see the man right through the front line. You know that he won, but you still have to wait until they announce that Narine Dat has driven past the finish line before everybody else. Even though we're seeing that you did that, they have to get the official announcement, because somebody make an announcement or somebody makes an announcement, you find some discrepancy of sort. No, we can't. Like they had this one time, I can't remember her name, a Miss World. She was crowned Miss World.
That's right, but not too long ago, yes.
And it was found out. This girl was in the movies. I think it's some Williams. And it was deemed that she posed naked in some movies, and they stripped her of the crown. So an official declaration was not made for her. And then look at Ben Johnson, the legendary Jamaican who was the fastest man in the world at some point in time. And when they finished there, when they made the announcement, later on it came up that he was on drugs, enhancing drugs. And they stripped him of his title. So you need credibility. You need to go ahead. And this is a race. Who won the race? Yeah, we see the winner.
That's right.
Get the official announcement, and so the declaration has to come. And it worries me, my friend. It really does.
So I mean, we all gonna hang in there, and we encourage people to hang in there. I know it's gonna be, you know, some sleepless nights, right? The way I see it, because I mean, based on what I've seen personally, based on what you guys have seen, I still predict 1 or 2 more sleepless nights. These guys are not rushing it. If it was a clear cut that the APNU FC won, if it was a clear cut that way, they would have already moved forward with all of this. But I think because of this situation here, that's the reason for this drag. That's how I see it.
You know, we were talking, let's just quickly backtrack a teeny bit only.
Sure.
Remember in 2014, the PNC, APNU, AFC had a 1-seat majority. Donald Ramotar was president. Moses Nagamutu moved a vote of no confidence. Was there a court fight? No court fight. Ramotar said he prorogued parliament for 6 months, and then he dissolved parliament, and they went right into election in 2015. It's that simple. That is when you have respect for the position you're fighting for, or for yourself. You have some class. We are seeing what these people are about, man.
Absolutely. So I mean, we've been chit-chatting for over an hour here. I do have another show at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but it's cool shoots for real.
Yes, that's fine. We will have you back on again. It's not an issue. We do have another a guest at 7 o'clock, but I'm giving you the opportunity to say any last word you want to say here before we sign off.
My friend, the one thing I can say is what I've been saying all the time. We on Facebook are fighting because we are supporting a particular political party, but we shouldn't be fighting among ourselves because we are all like underlings. The leaders are using us. We allow them to use us, but we shouldn't hate each other, because at the end of all of this, you and I are going to be friends still. We will still have to meet and talk. We may be in parliament. We may be teachers in the same school teaching, and we are supporting different parties. Are we supposed to hate each other? And let us see what is happening in the United States right now. Tomorrow, you're going to have probably the largest funeral for a known criminal who served jail time, George Floyd.
Yes.
But this man, unquestionably, in the eyes of the world, international television, he was brutalized. He was manhandled. He was not resisting arrest. This man was killed, man, in public. He was choked for 9 minutes by the knee in his neck. And 3 other police stood there and watched. That is at its worst. At its worst. Tomorrow, I think, is the funeral. And I must say, I offer condolence to the family. Whether the man was a criminal, whether he was an angel, you had no right to do that to him. You had no right to do that to him. It points towards serious hatred. And so now the world again is having more than COVID fight. In Guyana, we don't have racism to that extent. I'll say that we do have it, but it's not to that extent. But what we do have is your political affiliation causes you to discriminate against your brother, your friend, your best enemy. Right now, our bodies are mine. But what are they now? Those people want to kill me, and guess what? I hate them. Is that how we're supposed to live? That we shelve our differences. When it comes to politics, you're allowed to pick your political party. That's your constitutional right. Don't hate the next man or your friend for choosing a party that you have not chosen, that you're different with. Let us live as brothers and sisters as we have been before politics takes our brain. And this only happens during election time, you know.
I know, yes.
When it clears up, we need to have this ongoing. And that's all I will ask the people who are viewing and listening to this program. Let us not hate each other for being affiliated with a political party. That's your constitutional right. We can hate the goddamn leaders for misleading us. That is okay, because you can't go and fight with them, box them up, and so you can box up your neighbor. My friend, thank you again, Narine. Thank you very much for having me in your program. And I hope that after election, or after the swearing in, sorry, not after election, we can sit here and talk something else again.
Of course. Once it's swearing
because then I will tell you how much I'm holding the government to task. By that time, we'll know who the ministers and so are.
You know
and
what?
we can make an assessment on our own.
Absolutely. So once we have a president swearing there, this is not the end of it. This is just the beginning. We must hold them accountable because the Guyanese people need to move forward and have opportunity.
I hope we can do that.
So that's the part I'm actually looking forward for. So we will have more of you. So not to worry about that. So I really thank you for giving your input here. You know,
anytime, my brother. Anytime.
It was a great chit chat. And to the people who you know, watch and share our page, we appreciate that. And the one good thing Charrandass says here, we don't have to necessarily like each other and all the time, but we need to respect each other all the time.
Of
Let's
course,
not
that's
fight
right.
among ourselves and so on. Of course, I'm going to have different views. You don't have to support my view. That Charrandass being the show on the show here doesn't necessarily mean I support his views, but we must respect each other, regardless who you voted for. You know, it does not matter. At the end of the day, we will have to still be with our neighbors. And Charrandass brought up a good point. We have to hold the leaders accountable because they,
yes, we should.
We have to do that. So once this new president swear in, don't think that everything will be fixed automatically. You know, we have to make sure that
we need to voice our opinion here. And look, Mr. President or Mr. Minister, you should do this and do that. We need this done. We need that done. Let us still send it to them in the nicest of ways, mind you. Absolutely. But we hold them accountable.
Absolutely. So my dear fellow listeners, as we're approaching the end of tonight's program, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. So on behalf of myself and our guest Charrandass, Persaud, we would like to wish you a great today and even a better tomorrow. And at 7 o'clock, half hour from now, we are starting a new segment with a new guest. So join us then.
Good man. Thanks a lot. You have a good one too, eh?
Yeah, not a problem.